Hello, 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 everyone. How are we all doing? Hope we're all doing well. Nearly the end of the week, everyone. We've nearly made it. We've all nearly made it. Good morning, Akello. How are you doing, my friend? Hey, Lachlan. How you doing, mate? We all good? Give it a minute for everyone to filter through. Tell me how your day's gone so far. I know it's only early, but... Morning, Vega. How you doing, pal? Hey, Irvin. How you doing, mate? It's been a while since I've seen you in the chat. How you doing, mate? You doing good? Thoughts on Todibo? We're about to get right into that, mate. About to get right into that. We've got a lot to talk about, actually. I thought yesterday was quite a slow news day till we got all about the Zirkzee and Ratcliffe interview and everything this morning. It's quite a lot to talk about, I feel. We all doing well? We all doing well? Give it a minute or two to get some more people through. There'll probably be some less viewers at the start, so we'll get through. Okay, almost ready, I feel. We just had exams, but they've all finished. Well done, mate. Well done. How'd they go? How'd they go? I did my uni exams, my first ever uni exams, a couple weeks ago, and they went quite well. So hopefully doing well. How's my holiday? It's going great, pal. Shall we get into it, though? I think we shall. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the MPB Morning Show. I'm your host, Alex, at Alex Talks All, and there is a conspiracy against Manchester United, which we're going to be investigating today. As well as that, we're going to be looking at a potential surprise midfield signing, the race for Mason Greenwood, which is hotting up every second, and Joshua Zirkzee's potential only path for a transfer is Manchester United. And if you're excited for all of that and so much more, please hit that like button. We're aiming for 50 likes today. We had an absolutely incredible stream yesterday. Thank you so much for your support on that. As always, hit the subscribe button. We're building a community here on the channel, and as per, get involved in the chat down below. I want to hear your thoughts, your feelings, and your opinions. Peterson saying, I'm a big fan. Keep going, mate. All the way from Cape Town, South Africa. All over the world. That's what I love about the MPB community. It's so wide. It's so diverse. All of your opinions, all heard on the channel. Cheers for your support, mate. So, shall we get into this, everyone? Good evening, says Cubus. So what do I mean by conspiracy? Well, let me break something down for you. In the last few years, Jake O'Brien, who's moved from Crystal Palace to Lyon. The owners own both those clubs. Benjamin Sesko, who's moved from Salzburg to Leipzig under the Red Bull chain. Dennis Undav, who's moved from Union St. Gilloise to Brighton under the same ownership. Savio, who's moved from Girona to Manchester City. They have the same ownership, the City Group. There have been 50 plus transfers between Watford and Udinese, which have been quite notoriously known as having the same owners, yet Manchester United can't sign a player from Nice because they have the same ownership and they're in the same competition. Personally, I am absolutely outraged by this, everybody. Fabrizio Romano broke this news yesterday saying, Jean-Claire Todibo to Manchester United is currently off and highly unlikely due to UEFA rules. Talks were advanced with all parties keen for months, but Nice and United playing in the same European competition next season means no green light. Personally, I am outraged. I am shell-shocked. I'm not one for overreacting on this channel. I'm not. I usually try and stay quite calm. I usually try and stay quite level-headed. To me, it's an absolute joke that this is allowed to happen. Guys, let me know. Do you agree with me? Do you think it's fair that there's one rule for others, a different rule for United? Again, it's just... We're looking at Chelsea basically having a petting zoo or a nursery with Strasbourg. It's oh, it really frustrates me. Lachlan Charles says it's absolute rubbish. Let me know, chat. Let me know. Let me know. I mean, Zirkzee Ratcliffe shares my frustration. He shares my frustration. He says in an interview with Business, with Bloomberg earlier today, he said on Todibo, he was really interested in coming to the club, but they've said we can sell him to another Premiership club, but we can't sell to Manchester United. But that's not fair on the player, and I don't see what that achieves. It really, really, really pisses me off. I never, ever use those sort of words on the channel, but come on, it frustrates me. Irvin says, have RB Leipzig and Salzburg been allowed then? I think they're not owned by the same people. They're on like an organisation, if I'm using the right word. I don't think it's the exact same sort of link, but the Watford Udinese sort of thing, the way Chelsea use Strasbourg, it's the whole idea of now having like a multi-club system doesn't make any sense. Because why would you use it if you can't send players between clubs? And you want players competing in European competitions. You want that quite desperately, because you're not going to send... Imagine we brought in that Anselmino from Boca Juniors. You don't want to loan him to like a League 2 club or the French League 2 club, because they're not going to be playing very high level of competition. You want to send them to where they can compete and learn, but then you don't want them learning at such a low level. It just frustrates me. It just frustrates me. But there are... I'm going to look at the silver lining. It's a pretty dark cloud that's gone over this deal, but let's look at the silver lining of it. Fabrizio Romano mentioned how advanced the deal was. And Sergeant Ratcliffe is saying here how interested INEOS have been in Jean-Claire Todibo. No one knew about this. Like, sure, we all knew there was a long-standing interest in Jean-Claire Todibo from INEOS and Manchester United. There were links made, obviously, like even if they weren't sort of grounded in any reality, there were definitely links made between the two. But let's be honest with ourselves here. No one really knew it was that advanced. So the fact that INEOS done that so silently, and we've only really known about it being this close to happening when UEFA have made their ruling, which to me, it just frustrates me. Chat, let me know. Are you happy with this? I'm assuming you're all as outraged as I am. I'm not that happy about it. And let me know, are you happy that Jean-Claire Todibo is not coming to United? Because to me, I'm frustrated by the double standards of the deal. I'm frustrated by the double standards set by UEFA. I'm not that upset that Jean-Claire Todibo is not coming to United. I think there are better players on the market for cheaper. But my frustration really lies at the fact that we're being taken advantage of, and there's other rules being set for us which others don't have to follow. It just, it really, really frustrates me. Thoughts on Todibo? Like I've just said, I think he's an excellent ball-playing defender. I just don't think... When you've got Lenny Yoro on the market, when you've got Jared Branthwaite on the market, when you've got Scalvini on the ACL now, Caliafori, you've got Glowson Bremer, you've got all these sort of centre-backs who are better than Todibo for not that much more of a price difference to me. I'm not mad at it. I know the chat really did quite like Todibo. The chat really does quite like Todibo. I mean, Montage said he was here yesterday saying, I wanted Todibo, I'm disappointed. Yeah, I get it. I get you are. Cubis says, can United still sign him and not play in the Europa? We want to play in the Europa League, mate. Cubis, we want to play in the Europa League. We want to challenge for all the trophies. And no one player is worth that, unfortunately. Irvin says, I'm just upset that we can't use Nice in general. Exactly. Like, it's like, you've got... It's so unfortunate and so frustrating, personally. It does piss me off. It does piss me off. But is there anyone, Lachlan Charles, is it definitely off? Like, no change in opinion? No, there's none. Nope. I mean, you're not... In Sergeant Ratcliffe's interview, he didn't really sort of show any desire to appeal against it. It seems pretty much set in stone, which is a tad frustrating, and I'm quite surprised by it. I was speaking to some people who really, like, understand the law about it. Ollie was right, fantastic account. He mentioned to me how he was really quite shocked at the ruling and really quite surprised. But shall we look at the rest of the Sergeant Ratcliffe interview? Let's look at the positives surrounding INEOS at the moment. And to me, the interview really was quite positive. He says, we've got more accountants than we've got sporting people at Manchester United. To me, I quite enjoy that. It's a little shot at Ed Woodward. It's a little shot of Richard Arnold, who I do quite like. It's a little shot of the previous Glazer regime that was propping up and running Manchester United into the ground. You've got the Glazers, who were the director of football, essentially. Avram Glazer, Joel Glazer, they were the directors of football. They were bankers. They're businessmen. They're accountants. You can say all you want about INEOS potentially doing Glazonomics, about potentially being very reactionary, about not making the best footballing decisions, but you can't say they're in bed with the Glazers because they're taking direct shots at them. And I really, really, really quite enjoy it. Cuba says, I mean not play Todibo in Europa League, just play him in the English competition. Ooh. I haven't thought of that. Chat, let me know, do you think that'll work? I don't have a clue about that. I mean, that's quite interesting. Irvin says, I know it's different, but it's not like how City use their owners' businesses as commerce income. We're using natural money. Yeah, I get that. Mark says, just forget about Todibo and Branthwaite and move on. There is still Inácio, Silva, Delict, Diamande and Gehi. I mean, that's what I'm saying about Todibo. I like Branthwaite a lot. I like Branthwaite a lot. We should really keep on pushing for him. But it's no love lost over Jean-Claire Todibo. It's no love lost. It's a shame he's going to be not joining United because of how cheap he was, how easy the deal was to be, how seemingly interested INEOS were in Todibo. But I think we have to move on. Shall we look at the other parts of the interview? Surgeon Ratcliffe. Give me a second. He goes on to say that there's room for improvement everywhere. We look at Manchester United and we will improve everything. We want to be where Real Madrid is today, but it'll take time. He goes on to say, Manchester United's net spend since the departure of Sir Alex Ferguson and David Gill is £1.1 billion. Real Madrid is £200 million. Today they have 6 or 7 players valued at over £100 million. United have none. And they have made the new Bernabeu. I mean, Surgeon Ratcliffe is certainly talking with a lot of sense, don't you agree? We can say what we want about the manager situation, but it's really positive things he's saying. Again, he goes on to say that the coach isn't the central issue at Manchester United. It's a sports club. It needs to be competitive. It needs a degree of intensity, but with a supportive side to it, because you are dealing with players who are relatively young, it hasn't had that type of environment historically. Again, it's very different. It's a very, very, very refreshing outlook in a time when we barely got interviews from the Glazers, who would actively turn down questions about Manchester United to focus on their other sporting endeavours. So it's really, really refreshing, I feel. I think the key thing I want to talk about is the room for improvement. They're certainly investing a lot into Carrington. I mean, have we all seen the, not the stock photos, but the planning photos of Carrington? It looks stunning. Looks absolutely stunning. Mark said, Sir Jim just got all of Manchester United on his side after that interview. That was talk now. He just has to walk the walk. Then he has my vote. I agree with you, mate. I agree. He's talking very, very, very well. He's speaking very well. He's saying all the right things. Now it's time to deliver. Now I want to see some signings coming through the door. Jared Branthwaite. Let's see a good negotiation on that or walk away. Let's look at Joshua Zirkzee, who we'll be talking about very, very soon, guys. Don't worry. We'll be seeing Joshua Zirkzee, he was talking about very, very soon. A huge update will be bringing to you guys very soon. But yeah, no, I'm really quite confident in Surgeon Ratcliffe at the moment. I'm quite excited about the club. Tell me, guys, are you guys excited about it? Are you guys looking forward to the new era of Manchester United under INEOS? Does this inspire confidence in you? Is there anything else from the interview? One last quote. Everybody in the world knows of Manchester because of Manchester United. Manchester United is like Coca-Cola, isn't it? Everyone knows it. I'm not sure I know why, but it's a fact. I mean, it's just a nice thing for him to understand the sort of legacy of the club, the world standing it has, and the respect it sort of demands from everyone around the world as well. Sort of demands of respect. Singh says, while I would prefer other players, I would definitely take him. It's a very stupid rule. As long as it's a fair deal evaluated by a third party, it should be allowed. He would cost us £30 million, and that would be fair. Like, it really irks me. It really irks me. Chat, considering how cheap he would have been, do you guys think there's any other cheap centre-backs on the market who you're looking at? Anyone who you've seen at the Euros who you've taken an interest in? To me, Kevin Damsmo of Austria, I was really quite impressed with him when they played France. That Austrian side, by the way, they were cracking, weren't they? They were a good little side. Guys, please make sure to stick around. We're talking about so much today on the MPB morning show. We'll be talking about the new midfield signing in the form of Edson Alvarez and the potential of that happening, Joshua Zirkzee, and the race for Mason Greenwood. And why don't we move on to Mason Greenwood right now? Perhaps stay positive. Before we go on to the bit of the negative, there's Edson Alvarez. Let's focus on the positives in the sale of Mason Greenwood. Yesterday, Char Dunker and Paul Joyce broke the news that Lazio have submitted a £30 million bid for Mason Greenwood. Manchester United want to get about £40 million, and it's understood Lazio are likely to add performance-related add-ons to their bid. Morning, ZM. How you doing, mate? But yeah, that's really, really positive to me about Lazio. We had a 25 million bid-ish from Valencia come in very recently, or at least it was an approach. It was sort of floating the idea in. And let me hear you guys. Do you think, are you happy that Mason Greenwood's leaving? I mean, we've spoken about it on the channel before, lots, about how it's probably better for him to walk away from the club. But let me know. Amma says no more Todibo. Mate, do you want him? Good morning, mate. Hope you're doing well. Mark's future giving me goosebumps, mate. He felt a bit like this when we brought in Ten Hag. I mean, it's a new era at Manchester United. It's a new, strong era, and we're all looking forward to it. ZM says, smash a like, please, guys. All of your support is so appreciated. Let's try and hit 20 likes today. I'd really, really appreciate it. Montage says, so who are we getting at right centre-back? De Ligt's wages are too high. Silva's too expensive. Gahey's expensive. Diamonde. Lenny Yoro. I don't care how much this chat tells me off for talking about Lenny Yoro, but I promise you, that is who I'm desperate for at right centre-back. But let's get back to Mason Greenwood, shall we? Let's get back to Mason Greenwood. Rob Dawson, as per all of these sources, by the way, coming through, superb. I'm not going to critique any of them. They've all come through this window talking very reliably, very soundly about any transfer dealings at United. He goes on to say, Lazio and Manchester United have started talks over a new deal for Mason Greenwood. United are hoping to agree a fee of around £30 million, although there's an acceptance that it would likely have to be subsidised with a number of performance-related add-ons. Lazio also face competition from Juventus for Greenwood. Do you know how good this is? And I'm not talking about just the deal itself, but how it's being portrayed in the media. For so long, we've failed to stir up interest in our players in the media. We've really, really struggled with it. Now Mason Greenwood putting him out in the media saying Lazio wants him. A few days ago, Valencia wanted him. Juventus were out of the race, but now they're back in. So I just think it's absolutely genius what United's doing with the media, because right here, I speak to you guys a lot about what perspective is the report coming from. When you look at people like Dawson, Dunker, Joyce, it's quite obvious to see that it's coming from a English and most likely United related perspective, which means they're deciding what they're letting out, and they're saying there's competition for Greenwood. You need to raise your thumbs up a little bit. There's some more Greenwood stuff, if I'm not mistaken. The Athletic, the ever-reliable Athletic, said Lazio, Juventus and Napoli, another club, are all interested in signing Mason Greenwood, while clubs in Germany, Spain and Portugal, even more clubs, are also monitoring his situation. Getafe are interested in Greenwood returning to them on another season-long loan. Again, when we speak about the Athletic, we're speaking about a direct link from United to the news source. And all they're doing is they're stirring up interest. I doubt there's more than 3 clubs seriously interested in Greenwood. But looking at that report, you could say there's 10, 12, 15 clubs who are seriously and actively considering a deal for Mason Greenwood. I mean, Jar Malman says, didn't United hire a really talented media guy? Seems that way, mate. I don't know what's happened, but the way we are presenting these players, I know it's Mason Greenwood. I know he has all the talent in the world. I've watched him live. I've seen just how good he can be. But he has a rocky relationship with the media, a rocky relationship with fans. To me, I'm quite impressed with managing to stir up all this interest. I'm really, really, really happy at United. And the Sun, Mason Greenwood's personal mouthpiece, says Manchester United want £40 million for Mason Greenwood, but both Lazio and Juventus believe they could strike a deal for around £34 million with add-ons. Juventus are offering Greenwood £100,000 a week, 3-year contract. That's probably the most reliable out of the lot. I don't think you're ever going to hear me use those words in connection with the Sun, unless I'm talking about Mason Greenwood. You're never going to hear me use those words. Sun and reliable. They're opposites attract occasionally. They never really attract each other until here. Because as we've seen in the past, Mason Greenwood has essentially been a little bit of a soap opera at Manchester United. And therefore, if you're a soap opera, you're going to go through the Sun. You're going to go through the Sun. So that to me is a really reliable report. And I'm quite happy with the way we're doing this. So chat, let me know, are you happy that Mason Greenwood's leaving? And where do you think he's most likely to end up? According to one report this morning, I believe it is Lazio, if I can find it. Sammy Mobkel has commented on how likely it was. Lazio have opened talks with Mason Greenwood over a £30 million deal. Talks are developing positively over an initial £30 million release clause that could rise with performance-related add-ons. So not release clause, just bid. I'm not mistaken. Here we go. Di Giovanni, I believe that's how I say his name, says Mason Greenwood to Lazio is very likely. So I do think at the moment Lazio is his most likely destination. But we will see. We will see. I think, you know what, I said it was Valencia a few weeks ago. No, a few days ago. I said it was Juventus a few weeks ago. So there's clearly quite a lot of interest in Mason Greenwood at the moment, and that's only a good thing. I mean, Urban says we need the money. Yeah. We really do. Singh says it feels so weird that we have competition for players that we want to sell. We are finally acting like a professional football club. We're acting like the biggest club in the world. Yeah, we've got these players. Yeah, come get them. They're the best in the world. Ahmed says £40 million will help us a lot. Where do we think it's going to be invested, chat? Where do you think we're going to invest the money in Mason Greenwood? Where do you think it's going to go? Where do you think it's going to go? I'm hoping it goes towards the new striker. I'm hoping we leave the right wing alone. I hope we cement Amad Diallo's spot at the club and we just sort of go towards a striker. Hoping. Speaking of Michael Olise, shall we have a little chat about him very quickly? Shall we have a little chat about Michael Olise? Santi, someone who broke a lot of news on the Kylian Mbappe deal and someone who you can really see is quite a reliable outlet at the moment. There's been some speculation over like how reliable Santi could be. He said a while ago that Gareth Southgate was being the leading candidate for the Manchester United job. That was never really sort of confirmed. But he says that Manchester United are not ready to trigger Michael Olise's £70 million release clause. United are exploring different possibilities to make the deal happen. Chelsea are ready to trigger Olise's release clause. They're currently the front runners and are pushing hard key days. Yeah, I think we can all sort of hang our hats with Michael Olise, unfortunately. We can sort of hang our hats. I'm frustrated by it because of how closely we were linked to him previously, but I think it's time to sort of accept defeat when it comes to Michael Olise at the moment. Cuba says, if United concluded Greenwood this week, can they go after Olise? I think we need to move Sancho on. If we're going to go for Olise, we need to move Sancho on. But chat, let me know. Chat, let me know. Do you think Olise is even needed at United with the reports coming out that Amad Diallo is now an integral figure in the squad? Are we happy with that? Because to me, I think Amad Diallo is worse than Olise at the moment, but with more game time, more introduction to the squad, as the system becomes a lot more functional and a lot more possession based, Amad Diallo will be a better footballer than Michael Olise. I promise you. Sadem says Greenwood shouldn't play, but it's not fair if he's being forced out, as others have literally done crimes, gone to prison and played pro football after their sentence. If he wants to leave us, then fairs. Greenwood doesn't want to stay. Mason Greenwood does not want to stay at the football club. I think that's quite well known by this point. My view on it is that he's a lot of drama. Whether you love him, hate him, support him, don't support him, regardless of that, imagine him on away days. Every time he gets the ball, he's going to get screamed at, shouted at, sworn at. He's going to get the most outrageous tackles being put on him in English history. Like, it's going to be bad for him. Like, looking at pure players' welfare perspective, I mean, it isn't fair to anyone to have him at the club. And the other players will suffer because of it. Imagine how the players will feel if one of their players being called a rapist and just abuse is being hurled at him. I just don't think it's fair on the squad. I don't think it's fair on the club. I think it's easier if Mason Greenwood goes overseas, but perhaps the media attention is dwindled a little bit. Amma says £70 million is a lot, but Olise just use Amad Diallo or Rashi. God, Amad Diallo. He's going to be good next season, boys. He's going to be good. He's going to be probably the breakout star of the Premier League next year. If he gets like a good 20 starts plus, 15 starts plus, yeah, I promise you that boy is going to go sky high. Singh says, do you think United want to try a loan with an obligation to buy deal for Olise, like what United did with Raya to ease financial fair play? I like that idea. I don't think it's feasible when Chelsea are willing to just sort of buy him outright. But say Chelsea call their interest or Olise decides he doesn't want to go to them. Yeah, I see that. Cuba says, I would swap Amad Diallo for Michael Olise if Palace accept the deal. Chat, let me know. Would you swap Amad Diallo for Michael Olise? Chat, let me know. Because I wouldn't. I wouldn't even think about it, unfortunately. I wouldn't even go close to it. Guys, if you're enjoying the stream so far, please leave a like on the video and hit that subscribe button. I'm here every day at 11 a.m. bringing you the daily news of Manchester United, the latest and greatest. And of course, get involved in the comments down below. I want to hear your thoughts, your opinions, and the next opinion I want to hear you guys hear what you're talking about is Edson Alvarez of West Ham. This has caused a bit of a stir, don't you think? It's caused a bit of a stir. Fabrizio Romano broke the news yesterday, if I can find it. Remember when we put out, Fab said we're putting out a report saying that we're looking at other midfielders, and that's 24 to 48 hours. Clearly, Edson Alvarez is one of them. Fabrizio Romano says Manchester United are considering West Ham midfielder Edson Alvarez internally. Good Lord. It's terrifying, boys. I'm terrified of this. Immediate reactions. Edson Alvarez, let me know. Mohammed says let Olise go to Chelsea, and if he does not break down with injury there, get him at a later date from Chelsea. Fair enough. Let's look at Alvarez very quickly. A little deep dive on him. He's 26 years old. He's a defensive midfielder. He's 6'1". So when it comes to that physical flooring, straight off the bat, he fits the bill. And on this channel, I speak a lot about height in the midfield. I speak a lot about physical intensity. Edson Alvarez, for many of his flaws, he does have that. And to be fair to him, he's had quite a good season at West Ham. His mentality has been praised by in public and behind closed doors. Often the Athletic put out reports saying that when Lucas Paquetá was being accused of gambling, when he was getting unfair treatment on the pitch, Edson Alvarez publicly spoke up and said he would fight for his life on the pitch if anyone dared to go at Lucas Paquetá. And that's been praised by West Ham fans and journalists alike. Pundits have also praised him, saying he's future West Ham captain material. He's clearly got good leadership qualities on the pitch and off the pitch. And to me, you need that at United. You need to be willing to die for not only the badge, but your players. So, hey-ho. So says West Ham want at least £70 million. Yeah, it's a bit of a trouble, unfortunately. Especially when João Neves could be going for £85 million total. It's ridiculous. Cuba says United announced Snapdragon's deal yesterday and mentioned that it would ease our financial fair play. I wonder how much that would add up to the budget and where United can use the money. That's fair enough. I think when it comes to them, I'm not very well versed legally and like financially. I'm not going to pretend like I am. I know enough, but I'm not going to pretend I know loads. When it comes to that, it will ease the pressure somewhat. The reports came out saying it was being added into this financial year that ends on June 30th, hence the sort of connection to Jared Banthwaite. I think it will ease the pressure. I don't think it will make a difference to transfers. I think it will probably mean later on in the summer we can maybe be a little bit more adventurous, but I still think at the moment we're being a bit more conservative in how we spend, regardless of the Snapdragon deal coming in. Singh says, I'd prefer to keep Casemiro. I've seen that opinion going around a lot. No, I wouldn't. Come on, chat. Casemiro or Edson Alvarez? Let me know. Casemiro and Edson Alvarez. I want to hear your opinion on that. But let's do a little... To anyone who's not familiar on him, the best way I can probably explain Edson Alvarez to you is statistically. He ranks in the 88th percentile for interceptions, the 89th percentile for tackles, and the 98th percentile for both blocks and clearances. The man is a defensive machine. If I was to use a profiling word for him, I don't really like using these, but he's a destroyer. He's really good in around the defensive area. He's a really quite good box threat, both defensively and going forward. So he certainly provide us that sort of set-piece help that United certainly need. But there is a bit of a problem. He does rank in the 20th percentile for progressive passes and the 28th for progressive carries. What we're looking for at United in a position-based system isn't that. I mean, I think those are a bit unfair to him, those stats. He played in a rather lacking David Moyes West Ham side last year, and we know all about David Moyes. We're United fans. They're not always the most sort of offensively inclined. Let's put it like that. I really quite like David Moyes, but I don't think it's the best representation. At Ajax, he certainly has the capability for a long diagonal ball. He's somewhat press resistant. He can turn on a dime when he wants to. I do think he has an error in him. I don't think he's as comfortable on the ball as perhaps we would need for this system. Ahmed says, no way, Casemiro out. We need the money and he's too old. Exactly. But regardless of money, who would you rather have, Casemiro or Edson Alvarez? I'd rather have Edson Alvarez. The man's got really long strides. He's great at eating up ground. He's a proper player in that regard. Sidem says Casemiro, multiple-time Champions League winner. He's no longer that player, mate. He is no longer the man who won several Champions Leagues, unfortunately. He's no longer that man. It's a bit of a shame. GGMU says, welcome back to the stream, my friend. Players like Alvarez, Kudus are not happening. We don't have the budget. The problem is we're showing an interest. we're showing an interest in them, which I don't particularly like, and it's been leaked. So let's look at the nature of the source. It's definitely not come from United. I can guarantee you this news has not come from United. I promise you. I promise you. Because if it did, it would include a list of other midfielders who we're looking at and not just Edson Alvarez. To me, there's two options. Erik ten Hag has gone leaking to Fabrizio Romano to sort of push his board to sign him. We know about the relationship they have with each other. We tried to sign him when Erik ten Hag first came to the club all those years ago. It was 2 years ago. God, time flies, doesn't it? God, time flies. But also, they had each other at Ajax. Erik ten Hag used him then over Lisandro Martinez as a 6. So there's certainly an interest, a long-standing interest in Edson Alvarez, which actually worries me quite a bit. And I'll get onto that in a second. But first, I also think Edson Alvarez's agent has leaked this. I think who doesn't want the world to know that Manchester United are interested in him? I think it's quite a flex, if you have that, to be honest with you. I think it's quite a flex. So yeah, I think it's either from the agent or from Erik ten Hag himself and his camp. Malman says, I still think Casemiro will head off to Saudi Arabia, but they're doing the same tactic as everyone else to try and get players cheaper. It's not even that. It's not even that, Malman. Again, I always say with my information, take it with a pinch of salt. But when it comes to Casemiro, Saudi Arabia want another defensive midfielder in the form of Joshua Kimmich, who is currently under interest at Manchester City. And I suspect if that falls through, yeah, I think Casemiro will be on his way to Saudi Arabia. But I think any midfield move is going to take time because Saudi Arabian interest in Casemiro will take a time to heat up, personally. But hey-ho. Hey-ho. But let's look at the positives of Edson Alvarez. He's a destroyer. He's an upgrade on Casemiro. And that's where it ends. Apart from that, he's not very good on the ball. Despite his highlights, despite how well he's played for West Ham this season, I don't think he could hack it at Manchester United on the ball, especially when he's got Kobbie Mainoo, Bruno Fernandes, Luke Shaw, Lisandro Martinez playing those balls into him. I just don't think he has the ability to sort of be composed, be calm, and move the ball forward. ZM says, I think we need someone like Onana or go all out for João Neves. We need players that can be in a lone pivot. Amadou Onana exists. Just get him. Why won't we just... Oh, chat, if you've been watching the stream for a while, you will know about my love for Amadou Onana and how much I think he is absolutely perfect playing a single pivot alongside Kobbie Mainoo and Bruno Fernandes. That is a proper midfield, that. Proper midfield. But no one will make my dreams come true. No one will make my dreams come true. How is that possible, says Sosa? What do you mean, my friend? What do you mean? Saudi Arabia wants a DM. Oh, sorry. In the sense that the Saudi Arabian clubs, most of them, have got a 6 who they're happy with. I think it's Al Ali. I think that's how I say it. It's one of them. They're looking for number 6. And I think they're looking at Joshua Kimmich at the moment. And then I think if that fails, they'll go after Casemiro. But that's just my information. Take it with a pinch of salt. Ahmed says, still can't believe Varane left us. It makes me sad every day, my friend. It makes me sad every day. But let me know, chat, is there anyone else when it comes to Edson Alvarez who we'd rather be more keen on? Spoke about João Neves, Amadou Onana, any other shouts we've spoken about Fofana before? But also, actually, no, here's a really good question. Edson Alvarez would probably be a long-term backup 6 or rotation option for Manchester United in that position. We have Sofiane Amrabat at the football club, who recently was one of the best players on the pitch against a Premier League winning Manchester City in an FA Cup final. Who would you rather have, Edson Alvarez or Sofiane Amrabat? Let me know, chat. Let me know. Lachlan Charles says he wants Alvarez. Yeah, I get that, mate. I think he's not... There's been quite strong reaction online to the Alvarez links. I do quite like him as sitting in a mid to deep block and being that sort of player to then receive the ball, play those long diagonals out to a running Kudus or an Antonio or someone like that. I quite like him as a player in that regard. I don't think he can play in a Manchester United possession-based style system. Singh says, I still believe Casemiro has it in him. I would only let him go if we got a good fee and we can replace him with a Kimmich-esque DM or to facilitate a João Neves deal. Yeah, I get that. I think your belief and your trust in Casemiro is perhaps short-sighted. I think we've all seen at the end of the season how broken physically he is. I think he's a player who was on his last legs last season, and he gave us all to the club. He won us a Carabao Cup. He was important somewhat in our FA Cup run this year, so kudos to him for that. But look, to me, he is done. But when it comes to your desire to bring in a Kimmich or João Neves, exactly. But I do think a big boy number 6 will come in next summer. I think the most likely outcome in the midfield position is we sign Fofana for £25 million, and we keep Amrabat. And then next summer we move from Amadou Onana, we move for João Neves or someone of that ilk. That to me makes the most sense, and to me is quite a smart plan. Tell me if I'm wrong, chat. Let me know. Am I barking up the wrong tree, or should we put all our funds into João Neves and just secure him right now? Let me know. Let me know. Sing says he likes Amrabat. Said M says Onana plus Amrabat backup would give us an affordable, proper midfield and squad balance. I agree with you. I agree. Chat, we're all agreeing with each other today. This is lovely. Oh, one big happy family. I love when we all get on. Sing says Amrabat. Andy Williams, welcome back to the stream, my friend. Casemiro is better than Alvarez. I don't believe so. Andy Williams says, what was the point of signing Mason Mount? Sell him for João Neves. I like Mason Mount. He had a really unfortunate first year at United, but I certainly believe he has a lot to give to this football club. He's one of those players who would have thrived under Tuchel. And I do think, hear me out on this, he could force either Bruno Fernandes or Kobbie Mainoo out of the team next year. He could do either. I'm firmly in belief of that. Lachlan Charles says, what do we do with Fofana then? He'd be like a 6. And then I think we bring him in this year to be a starter and to rotate with Amrabat. And then the season after, he would sort of play a rotation piece to a bigger player. I think he'd be happy to do that. I think a £25 million player would happily sit on the bench for someone like Onana, like a João Neves, who's worth £85 million. And at the end of the day, he's playing at Manchester United. That's just my opinion. Also, sorry that the chat box isn't working in the stream today, guys. I will fix that. It does it every once in a while. I think I just need to reset it. But I'll do that for tomorrow. Any more opinions on the midfield situation, guys? Cuba says, the main question is, who would you pick, Onana or Branthwaite? If Everton are able to sell Onana, they won't sell Gerard Branthwaite. They could sell them in consecutive years. But if we're talking about just this year, Amadou Onana, 100%. The centre-back market is so much deeper and so much better than the midfield market. And it's cheaper as well. It's cheaper. Andy Williams says Kobbie is untouchable, has to start every game in the league. We would kill the poor boy. We're not going to do that. I am not a promoter of slavery in any way, shape or form, my friend. Not my favourite way to go about it. But no, I think we're all forgetting how good Mason Mount was under Tuchel at Chelsea. And under Lampard as well. We're all forgetting how good he is. I think he certainly has a chance to displace either Mainoo or Bruno Fernandes. Or chat, am I going absolutely mental? And am I sort of living on the nostalgia of Mason Mount at Chelsea? And I have backed him for a long time as well, Mason Mount. I have backed him for a long time. Would you sell him, chat? Would you sell Mason Mount? Let me know. Let me know. Guys, please stick about. We have got to discuss Joshua Zirkzee and his potential future at Manchester United and how we might have a clear run at him. But let's have a little bit more discussion on midfielders. We're discussing Mason Mount at the moment. If you've just joined the stream, leave a like on the video as well and hit that subscribe button. I'm here every day at 11 a.m. bringing you the latest and greatest Manchester United news. Ahmed says, in my opinion, we should start Mason and bench Kobbie. Kobbie is insane, but we don't want him to get injured. He's still young. You can make that argument about any player, though. Let's not start Garnacho because we don't want him to get injured. I'm not too sure how much I agree with that, to be honest. I'm not too sure how much I agree with it. So says, don't sell him, but def switch his number. I forgot he's the number 7. Good God. Wow, I forgot about that. That's a shame. Oh dear, that's a shame. Yeah, the number 7 curse is alive and well, you know. Zedem says Zirkzee's finishing is sus, although he's good off the ball. Not sure if he's a guy we need. We're discussing about Zirkzee very, very soon, my friend. Keep on the stream for that. Andy Williams says, I would if you're getting Neves. Zedem says, on the ball. Cuba says, I would sell Mason Mount if United signed Ryan Cherki. Good God. He has 1 year left on his contract, only 20, and PSG are bidding £15 million on him. He's one of those football manager wonder kids, isn't he? That he's always going to be have a really high potential on that game, and on FIFA as well. He's like 24 until everyone gives up on him. I have not watched enough about Zirkzee, hence why I made the FIFA and Football Manager comparison. Kadali, hi my friend, how you doing? I hope you're doing well. Welcome to the stream. But yeah, no. I don't think Zirkzee's all that, unfortunately. I think he's injury prone. I don't think he's really taking that step up to the highest of levels. Let me just have a little check if any breaking news has occurred while I've been away on stream. Have a little check. Unfortunately, none. It's a bit of a shame. Sink says you rate Mason Mount very highly. He will play a massive part for us next season. I agree. Even as a rotation piece, why would you not want a player of a caliber of Mason Mount at your club? Why would you not? Why would you not? I think you're a fool if you turn down Mason Mount. Personally, you're a fool. Shall we discuss Joshua Zirkzee, everyone? We spoke about him in depth on yesterday's stream. Really good stream, by the way, guys. But Core Sport has come out with quite an interesting report today, saying AC Milan have lost the advantage in the race to sign Joshua Zirkzee and are now exploring alternative targets. First of all, as I always say, when you first look at a piece of news, look at the source and look where the perspective is from. Core Sport is an Italian news outlet. I'm not too sure on their reliability. First time I've really come across them, but it's coming from an AC Milan perspective. This is a brief, not from Zirkzee's agent, because if it was from Zirkzee's agent, his name would be front and centre. It's not from United because it's Core Sport. I think this brief has come from AC Milan. That's what I think it's come from, because they're actively saying they're now looking at alternative targets. They're moving their focus away from Joshua Zirkzee. I think, if I'm being honest with you, they've given up on signing him. They've looked at that €15 million commission, gone, nuh-uh, United are being given a discount. It's quite obvious where his agent wants him to go. His agent is so integral to the deal. We're going to be moving on. Ammo says Zirkzee to United, here we go. You know what? I think that'll be the second here we go we hear this window just behind Jared Vanthwaite. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. But chat, let me know, now that we have a clear run at Joshua Zirkzee, he seems to be the man coming in to provide competition for Rasmus Højlund next season. Are you happy with him coming to Manchester United? There was a huge amount of discourse yesterday. The United timeline is never quiet, is it? If you're on Manchester United Twitter, there's always something going on. And there was a civil war going on over Academy Scoop's quite pessimistic and negative assessment on Joshua Zirkzee. He called him technically inconsistent. He said, he was like, he didn't think he was physical enough and he didn't think his game would translate well to the Premier League. Now, look, everyone's entitled to their opinion. I think the overreaction to Zirkzee, his opinion was quite extreme. If you hear someone's opinion on Twitter, you don't like it, talk to them. Chat with them like we do here on this channel. Everything is so friendly and healthy. And it's all about communication. Don't get upset at someone just for their opinions on Twitter. It's not worth it, chat. It really isn't worth it. I do agree with Finley's assessment on Joshua Zirkzee, though. I do think his game translates. I think he underestimates just how good the Italian league is. I think there is a bias of United fans, and I feel susceptible to it at times as well, of sort of underrating other leagues. But look in the semi-finals this year. Not one Premier League side was in the Champions League semi-final. Just goes to speak how good these other sides are and how good the other leagues are. So, Cuba says, now United are in for Zirkzee. All of a sudden, a rumour came out about Jonathan David is available for £25 million. Ripple effect, someone is panicking, not sure who. Jonathan David's agent is panicking, my friend. I remember hearing a while back, again, take all of this with a pinch of salt, that Jonathan David is Erik ten Hag's man. And it seems to be that INEOS have sort of pushed towards Zirkzee and they're going for him instead. I reckon Jonathan David's agent probably thought it was his best time to ever get his client a big move, and it's just not going to happen. I think he's panicking quite a bit. Kadali's very sad about Todibo, my friend. If you go back 20 minutes on the stream, we're doing a really big deep dive on Todibo and that sort of conspiracy about Manchester United. So make sure you rewatch the stream, my friend. This isn't FIFA, it takes time, I know. I do think the second Zirkzee's release clause becomes active, I think this deal goes quite quickly, to be honest with you. I think we go at light speed, personally. ZM says buy cheap, buy twice. He dropped something there. If we don't get Tony or someone undeniable and consistent. Let's have a talk about Joshua Zirkzee. Let's have a talk. Chat, straight away. Yes or no's in the chat. I want to see a stream of them. Is Joshua Zirkzee Manchester United quality? Let me know, chat. Let me know. Not do you want anyone better, but is he able to provide competition, be a backup, and potentially start for Manchester United in key games? And don't be afraid to admit if you haven't watched enough of him. I've watched a lot of Bologna last season. I really enjoyed watching them under Thiago Motta. Let me know. What is your opinion on Joshua Zirkzee? Because to me, I think his game translates. I think he's a very different profile to Højlund, which I really quite like. I like the fact that it's sort of... We have two ways of going about the game. I enjoy players who... It's quite Potter-esque in a way, the way I think about football. I enjoy players who can change game states, who can change the way we play, who can change the way we can attack and probe at an opposition and defend as well. Joshua Zirkzee is, 6'1", 2"? He's a big boy, isn't he? Physically quite powerful. So out of possession, yeah, I quite like him. I'm a bit concerned about his work rate. That's something that bothers me. I know he had issues at Bayern Munich regarding his mentality, but he went to Bologna, had a really good season on Thiago Motta. When there's confidence behind him, look, I think he's someone who can succeed off the ball and can certainly work hard. When it comes to his ability on the ball and how he could sort of change the way we play, Rasmus Højlund is an outlet. That is what he is. He's a big, strong player. At times, United have desperately tried to make him a back-to-goal player. We tried to turn him into Romelu Lukaku at times. Everyone's seen that video of him v Jamie Carragher when Lukaku just bodies Carragher in that sort of like little 1v1. Rasmus Højlund isn't that. He's a big, strong lad, but that's not his strength. His strength is getting behind a defender. That game against Luton epitomises Rasmus Højlund, preying on defenders' mistakes. Balls being sent through to him over the top by Bruno Fernandes. Sitting in the box, allowing Rashi to send a ball in. Garnacho to send a ball in. Bruno to put a ball in. Dalot to put a ball in. Shaw to put a ball in. That's where he thrives, not with his back to the defender and being able to move about a little bit. That's not where he thrives at all. Joshua Zirkzee is a very different player and allows us to sort of run the offense through him and not running the attack to get towards Rasmus Højlund, if that makes sense. Do you get that? As in... He's sort of a facilitator for us. He'll drop deep a little bit, sort of being where the 10 might be, maybe a little bit further forward, but occupying the zones between the opposition defensive line and the opposition midfield. And he would sort of sit back there with his back to the defenders, holding them off, playing in Bruno, allowing those third man runs in behind him, giving them to Bruno, giving them to Mainu, giving them to Dalot when he inverts. Because you know how we've all seen at times this season gone, why on earth is Diogo Dalot going so much... Why on earth is Diogo Dalot exploding into the front line? He likes doing it. And Zirkzee will be perfect for that. But he'll be even better for allowing Rashford to get in behind. Playing those balls to get Garnacho in behind. That's where he thrives, personally. He's 6'4". Yeah, he's an absolute monster. We speak about raising the physical flooring of a squad. It's what he does. It's what he does. ZM says, he's decent but not elite IMO. I think he could be. I think, again, he's a facilitator. He can be as good as the players around him are. He could be excellent for Rashford. I think I saw a tweet saying if we bring in Zirkzee, Rashford becomes a top 5 player in world football. I don't agree with that, but I think Rashford certainly improves when Joshua Zirkzee is on the pitch. But chat, let me know. Do you agree with me? Do you think I'm barking up the wrong tree? Do you think I'm mad? Do you think I'm not knowing what I'm on about? Let me know, chat. I'm quite confident in my assessment of Zirkzee. I'm quite confident in my assessment of him. Lucky Singh saying Jadon Sancho out. Good lord, Sancho catching a strain. He's not even here. Rego says hopefully we can get the Branthwaite deal done soon. It's important to get the centre back signings out of the way quickly. The Branthwaite deal is a waiting game, my friend. We have 10 days to wait for Jared Branthwaite. June 30th, apologies, is the end of the financial year and is the time when Everton need money. That's where we come in. Manchester United storming through. Probably on the 27th, 28th is when I'm going to guess. We'll put in a bid for £45 million. They'll reject it. We'll get it done at 55 million. That is my assessment of the timeline. That is my assessment. Singh says, I think Højlund has a higher ceiling, but he fits well, brings a unique profile, and would bring good competition. It's a very good price, but his agent concerns me. I mean, we have a history with him, don't we? It's quite interesting that we're being given a discount for Zirkzee's commission. But we have a really bad history with him with Tevez. But then again, it's a new regime, new look. So hey ho. You know what, Singh, though? I completely agree with you. I think you're spot on. Pardon me, sorry. About Højlund having a higher ceiling. But there's still benefits to bringing in a player like Joshua Zirkzee. I think you're spot on. I think you're absolutely spot on. So them says we'll get the best out of Rashford with him, to be fair. Exactly. We're all agreed today. Look at us. Happy family in the chat. And if you are enjoying the stream today, please leave a like on the video. We're aiming for 30 likes today. I'd really, really, really appreciate it from all of you. But any sort of final updates on Joshua Zirkzee? Would you rather bring in Ivan Toney? There were shouts about Jonathan David earlier. How do you feel about him? How do you feel about Jonathan David? Let me know, chat. Let me know. I mean, Kadai says Jonathan David is very good. I've not watched enough of him, unfortunately. I've not watched enough. I mean, speaking about Rabiot... Adrian Rabiot. That's a good shout to have a little talk about. Tuto Sport put out a thing, didn't they? Let me find that. There we go. Adrian Rabiot is stalling on agreeing a new contract at Juventus as he is waiting for Manchester United. That is reported by Tuto Sport. I like Rabiot. I think he has a role to play at United if he came. I think he raises the physical floor by an absolute mile. I think he'd be brilliant for us. The problem is, he's using us. He used us last summer. I mean, I was told last summer that Adrian Rabiot to United was pretty much done. Like, that deal was supposed to be signed the dotted line, he was supposed to come, and it never sort of materialised, which, looking back on it, I'm quite frustrated by. But look, his mother is a monster. His mother is a monster. She's using us, using the great name of Manchester United, equivalent to Coca-Cola, in the words of Sir Jim Ratcliffe, to get more money out of Juventus. And I don't think INEOS are going to be willing to pay Rabiot's wages. They'd certainly be very interested in the profile of player. He's capable of playing at a very high level. He plays for Juventus week in, week out. He's starting for France in a very good French side. And Mrs. Rabiot for free, why not? It's never free. How many times do I have to say it till I'm blue in the face, guys? A free transfer is never a free transfer. Agent fees rocking up. The money to Rabiot's agent is going to skyrocket. Everything about Rabiot being for free, nah. He's also quite old, isn't he? Someone check very quickly. Don't leave the stream. Don't leave the stream. But someone check, how old is Adrian Rabiot? How old? But I do like the idea of bringing in both Rabiot and Fofana. I mean, if it was feasible, if we could get him for like somewhat reasonable wages, yeah, I like the idea. I really do like the idea. He's what? He's a Nations Cup winner. He's won several Scudettos. Played under some top coaches. He's won a World Cup, if I'm not mistaken. Wait, no, did Rabiot win the World Cup? Was he in the side that year? Not too sure. Cuba's saying Rabiot is on £170,000 a week. He wants £300,000 a week, but Juve aren't giving him that. Neither will we. He might be using United, but he might also consider leaving if United are willing to accept £200,000 a week. He is 29. Singh says he is a good player, but his mother. Chat, never ever say but his mother in any other context apart from Rabiot. Trust me. Doesn't go down well. Yeah, no, he is 29. He is 29. He's a lot older. It's why I sort of don't believe the Edson Alvarez rumours at all. Because, like, he's 26. I remember that report that came out saying we're not going to sign anyone over the age of 25. Like, it just doesn't... The Edson Alvarez deal, the Rabiot deal, just very much feels like agent talk or very speculative. You know what? It screams Matthijs de Ligt. It screams players wanting to move to United, doing their best to sort of garner some support from the fans in the media, but it's all falling it's falling flat on its face. Like, we all heard the Edson Alvarez news, and the sort of collective response from United fans was shock and disgust. We weren't happy, were we? We were not happy chappies. Kadali says, I need 2 number 8s box-to-box midfielders. We have Kobe Mainoo, Bruno Fernandes, Mason Mount. We have Amad Diallo, who can do that role. We have Sofiane Amrabat, who could do it at a stretch. We don't need any more. One more would be fine, I feel. But even then, I'm not too sure. If we got Adrian Rabiot, we wouldn't keep Amrabat, in my opinion. We wouldn't keep Amrabat, because I think Rabiot can play as a 6 if absolute push comes to shove. But, hey-ho. Cuba says the main question, would you prefer to keep McTominay or get Rabiot and sell McTominay? Keep Scott McTominay. I'm sorry, chat. You lot are going to yell at me about the passion and desire thing, but that boy is a United player. He's a United player. He's happy to play a squad role. He's happy to come in at start. That man single-handedly saved Erik ten Hag's job mid-season. I promise you he did. The goals he scored were so crucial to Erik ten Hag still having a job. I promise you. I promise you. And you don't get rid of a player like that. You don't get rid of a player with such an incredible physical profile. It's not unique. It's not unique. There are players like him in world football. But someone who is willing to play a squad role, willing to put in the effort, willing to be a good leadership figure in the dressing room. Like, he's part of, like, the core four. Like, the main leaders of the dressing room. He's good mates with all the old lads. He's a good mentor to all the younger lads. Come on. Scott McTominay. God, Scott McTominay. Let me know. Am I barking at the wrong tree, though, guys? I know quite a few of you guys do not agree with my assessment on Scott McTominay, so let me know. Let me know. Malman says Rabiot is 29 and he is not a World Cup winner. It's my mistake. I think he had a fallout with the manager of France at that time. That makes sense. Rego says Alvarez is average at best. Plus, the best time to sign him was when he was at Ajax. West Ham will now demand close to £60 million. Rego says Amrabat over Alvarez IMO. Might as well sign Amrabat on a permanent deal in this situation. I agree. Yusuf Fofana, Bournemouth midfield. Is he going to Bournemouth? I was in Bournemouth recently, chat. Lovely city. If you're ever around, go check it out. It's lovely. Let me have a check. Fofana looking at... Is Fofana going to Bournemouth? Let me have a little look, chat. Let me have a little look. Oh, chat. I've just seen something. On Joshua Zirkzee, some breaking news I've just seen from Sport Witness. I don't know the source itself. But listen to this. Bit of a damp knot on the mood. But there's a twist. Kia Jorbchen ready to reduce commission claims if AC Milan sign player's younger brother Jordan. What a stupid report. Chat, that's hilarious. Chat, let me know. Do you think that's real? Let me have a little look, see where it's coming from. Because that is an outrageous statement if it's true. And I will be severely pissed off with the agent if it is. Let me check. Sorry, chat. Sorry for the lack of talking. I'm having a little look. So it's Thursday. It's Corriere della Sera. That's the report. I've not really heard of them. They says Kia will reduce his commission demands if the Serie A club agree to sign Joshua's younger brother Jordan. The 18-year-old striker scored 6 goals in 21 under-19 regional Bundesliga matches last season and is out of contract at Bayern Leverkusen. Oh, God. That's a shame. Because that is outrageous. Have you ever seen anything like that before, chat? I mean, you lot were warning me about his agent, but I didn't think... Remember, I don't remember the Tevez sort of drama. I wasn't old enough to realise it. But Christ. God. They go on to say, reading between the lines, there's the possibility that a chunk of that 15 million euros may have been going to the player's camp and therefore giving Jordan, say, a 4 or 5 year contract and a chance at a top career will be worth more. That's stupid. United won't do that. If AC Milan do that, nah, that's cuckold behaviour. Honestly, it is. It is. Imagine giving in to those demands. That is just silly. Nah, chat, let me know. What's your opinions on that? What's your opinion on Joshua Zirkzee's younger brother being an integral part in this transfer saga? Just when you thought it couldn't get weirder, it does. I mean, Singh says that has to be rubbish. There is no way he's blackmailing AC Milan. Chat, can anyone find out for me what happened with the Tevez deal? Could someone have a little look at that for me, please? I wouldn't mind someone sort of verifying that. Because I'm shocked. Cuba says, have I seen that before? Well, Mbappe's brother is at PSG and now want to leave after Mbappe going to Madrid. He's a lot younger, though. Jordan's 18 years old. He would cost a transfer fee or he's like a substantial wage being paid to him. Like, he is a professional footballer, not like a young lad. Also, Mbappe's younger brother is supposed to be really quite good. Ethan, I believe his name is. This lad scored, 6 goals in, 21 under-19 Bundesliga regional matches. That's such a stretch. That's such a weird link. Look, no, I'm not. I don't know how much I'm going to agree that that's exactly legitimate. It's quite a weird way to end the stream, actually. Chat, final thoughts. Do you think Joshua Zirkzee gets over the line, or do you think we are being taken on a bit of a long-winded ride by the agent of Joshua Zirkzee, Kia Jorbichan? Singh says no legs in this. I'm inclined to agree with you. Let me know, Joshua Zirkzee, is it, as a certain Donald J. Trump might put it, fake news? Let me know, chat. Let me know. Before I end the stream, last opinions on it. And I had a really good time today, guys. If you've enjoyed the stream somewhat, please hit that like button and hit that subscribe button as well. I'm here every day at 11 a.m. giving you the latest and greatest United news, especially with this Joshua Zirkzee news constantly evolving. I'll be here every single day. Z says, I don't want to bring this up, but Mark Goldbridge literally made a stupid point on his show saying all Ten Hag Ajax signings has been good. He's not made a mistake. He's been so annoying. Look, seen a bit, Lachlan. Look, I like Mark. I like Mark a lot. I don't agree with him on that. Everyone knows him. I sort of distaste, but Anthony is probably quite a strong word. But look, that's sort of my opinion on it. Jonathan David's agent can be happy again, says Cubus. I mean, it's certainly spiced it up if it's true. I don't think it is. I think it's a bit of fake news. But hey-ho. We will see how it evolves. No reliability in the news, says Singh. But hey-ho. I really enjoyed today's stream today, guys. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Here every day at 11 a.m. bringing you the latest and greatest United news. I'll be seeing you tomorrow morning. I'll see you then.